Hello everyone. Welcome to today's lecture. So today we will be continuing chapter 5. Okay. In last lecture what we did is we discussed about SA 505 and 510. Remember? SA 505 and 510 were discussed in detail with practical applications of those SA in the last session. So if you have any doubt with respect to that particular essay or with respect to any of the topic till now discussed, you can ask, you can write in the chat box and I'll take it up immediately. Okay. So now what we are going to discuss today, before we deep dive into the provisions into the next essay, I want you to take a detour and kind of start with the practical questions today more. Reason because that that we need to understand that how practical questions are also asked in the exam. How it will be there and how to answer those questions. So that is something very important for us. Okay, so yes, we will go to the theory part that is there. But first we'll try to solve some questions and then we'll go to the theory so that we can understand the practical application of the topic. Okay, okay. So let's start with some practical questions. Just let me know if this. Yeah, no, it's visible. Okay, fine. Let's start with the first question for the today. Now, these are the basic questions. Basic in the sense it will be something on to the the theory part, also the practical part. So we'll start one by one. Okay, so that we can create a base and good understanding. Great. So now the first question for today. Mr. Jagannath, auditor executive, was assigned to the audit of SecurePay Private Limited fintech firm. The firm was involved in refinancing of account payables in other companies. To test for the understatement in the existence or valuation of account payable refinance, Mr. Jagannath decided to test recorded and refinance payable. That is, verifying the refinanced accounts payable against the contracts. Mr. Jagannath did not identify any observation and accordingly he communicated the same to his audit partner. While reviewing the working papers of Mr. Jagannath, the audit partner identified that the audit procedure followed to test for the understatement in the existence or valuation of accounts payable refinance is not relevant. However, Mr. Jagannath was not able to understand the comments provided by the audit partner and hence kindly guide Mr. Jagannath with respect to the relevance of the audit procedures by selecting the appropriate option from below. We'll go to the options, but first understand the question again. So what is the question is there is a audit executive, Mr. Jagannath. Okay, he was assigned to the audit of SecurePay Private Limited fintech firm. Now he was involved in testing of the company was involved in refinancing of accounts payable of other companies. Now to test the understatement in the existence and valuation of accounts payable refinanced, Mr. Jagannath decided to test recorded and refinance accounts payable, that is verifying the refinance accounts payable against the contract. Mr. Jagannath did not identify any observations and the same was communicated to the partner. While reviewing the work papers of Mr. Jagannath, audit partner identified the audit procedure followed to test the understatement is not relevant. Now you need to guide Mr. Jagannath like whether this procedure is relevant or not. Okay. So what you tell me few things. Number one, whether the procedure performed is relevant for the purpose for which I am doing the testing. Again, I am doing the testing to understand the existence or valuations of understatement in the existence and valuations of account payable refinanced. Okay, understatement. Now, for that, do you think this particular process, this particular test is relevant and is appropriate? Again, there is an understatement. There is a risk that the accounts payable which are refinanced are understated on account of existence and revaluation. So I or the audit executive here decided to test the recorded accounts payables refinance through contracts. Okay, verifying the refinanced accounts payable against the contract. Now you tell me whether this procedure is appropriate and relevant. If yes, then why? If no, then why? Number two, if you are saying yes, then you need to provide the reason. If you are saying no, you need to provide the reason. But what you need to do is, if you are saying no, then what procedure he should have followed instead of this? Come on, guys. Salesh, Tanisha, come on, let's give a try. Come on, let's give a try. Because till the time you don't try, you will never come to know, what are the details and, what are the things that you should consider while answering the question. Okay, good, Tanisha, very good. Can you give me some example, Tanisha, like which procedures you are referring over here that the auditor should go for? Good, Salish, but can you just provide me with the reason why? Good, Sandhya, very good. But what he should have done instead of this, then? Okay, good, Charu, very good. And when you are Charu, when you are referring the the audit procedure that you are mentioning over here, then from whom that should be confirmed? You need to pay attention to each and every word. See, practically, I'm talking about the audit over here. So what I'm talking about is that I have a risk in practical scenario also. When you go for the audit, you will be assigned a particular area. Over there you will be assigned that these are the risk of the these particular areas. and you need to perform the testing. I cannot blindly rely upon whatever was done in the last year or the previous year or what was done earlier. I need to understand whatever I'm testing is relevant or giving me comfort over the risk, whether my testings are aligned with respect to the risk that has been identified, and what is the purpose or the outcome that I am achieving out of the testing I'm performing. So I need to correlate. I need to understand the testing done, its outcome, and the purpose, like which assertions or risk it is catering to. Very good, Tanisha. Okay, very good. Okay, so just I'll tell you one more thing. If we pay focus on this particular part, the firm is involved in the refinancing of account payables of other companies. Now, what is it? This scenario is refinancing of account payables of other companies is kind of giving a credit facility, or for example, if a company has an accounts payable and they want kind of credit on that accounts payable, the firm, the Secure Pay Private Limited was what was doing is was paying accounts payable. Let's say, for example, I need to pay to my vendors or creditors, but I don't have money as of now. I'll go to Secure Pay. Secure Pay, please pay to my vendors. I'll pay you later on. Okay. So they were refinancing the accounts payable for other companies. Now, to test the understatement in the existence and valuations of accounts payable refinanced. Okay. Mr. Jagannath decided to test recorded and refinanced accounts payable. That is, verifying the refinanced accounts payable against the contract. Are you getting my point? So it's not normal accounts payable, but I'm talking about a business where accounts payable are refinanced. So I'm talking about a business where accounts payable are refinanced. Okay. So accordingly, you need to, think from different angle, not a normal accounts payable that are, there in my books of accounts as a usual business, but it's a bit of different. Good, Tanisha. Very good. See here, if I talk about this particular case, now what is the scenario is this, if I talk about the balance sheet, okay. Now there will be two things after performing, after entering into a contract. First, I will recognize, let's say in this particular scenario, what I'm talking about here is that the company, for company, the refinanced accounts payable after paying will become something, a collection item that will be a datus for the company, because what the company is doing is, let's say there is a limited. A limited has accounts payable of rupees 100. Now they went to Secure Pay. Secure Pay paid this particular amount. Okay. Now Secure Pay paid this one amount. Now Secure Pay will collect this amount later on from A Limited. So this rupees 100 is now to be collected by Secure Pay, becomes debtor of Secure Pay. Although I am talking about refinancing of accounts payable, but that's a debtor. Okay. So you need to think from that point of view. So I am saying A Limited, I am saying that Secure Pay has some data in their books of account. Now I want to test for the understatement in the existence and valuations of data. So for that, Mr. Jagannath decided to test recorded accounts, recorded finance and refinance accounts payable. Okay, Danisha, very good. Okay, so Most of you answered that this, okay, how many of say whether this whatever he has done is relevant? Like anyone saying that this procedure, whatever has been done by Mr. Jagannath is relevant. Okay. So what he has done is he has tested the accounts that tested the recorded and refinanced accounts payable, okay, against the contract. So whatever accounts payable were there in my books of account, debtors were there, he verified the same with contract. Contract in the sense this contract where the secure pay has to pay rupees 100, and then later on secure pay will collect certain amount along with means 100 plus interest from A Limited. So he verified the same with the contract. So how many of you say this is relevant? The procedure which is followed is relevant. Now I want to test understatement in this. So when I talk about understatement, I talk it about, let's say, unrecorded. Okay. If I tell in another word, it becomes unrecorded. Unrecorded accounts payables or unrecorded data for the particular secure pay. Unrecorded data for secure pay. Okay. Now, when I talk about unrecorded data for secure pay, if I test the same, if I want to, have a comfort on unrecorded data for secure pay, I need to have comfort on the assertion that is completeness. Number one is the completeness that I want to look into. Number two, that will be existence. And third will be valuation. But the prime and the important will be completeness. Now, when I will test refinanced accounts payable against the contract, I will get comfort. Okay. That is for sure that I'm going to get comfort against, existence and valuation. But I will not get any comfort on completeness because whatever is recorded in the books of accounts, that's already there. I'm just checking recorded in the books of account. So verifying the refinance against the contract, which is already there in the books of account. So that will not give me any comfort on the completeness. So for that, I need to do something else to check understatement. Something additional is required to be done. And that additional I'm talking about depends upon, from case to case basis, but then what is the amount? But here, what additional could have been done is, you guys tell me what additional could have been done. Confirmation, see, for confirmation, so people who are saying external confirmation, for confirmation also, you need something, like something recorded, then you will go and check the balance for the confirmation. But what if I'm saying, the balance is not there in the books of account? It is not recorded. The data itself is not recorded. Then what? And why I'm saying data is because refinancing of accounts payable is kind of a data for this secure pay private limited. So I am saying data have been not been recorded. How will you ensure that, how will you ensure the completeness in that particular part? Confirmation will not give you completeness for sure. Unrecorded data, how will you get the completeness? So the question is that, okay, if you want to perform testing to understand what are the unrecorded data, how will you get, what you will do? Not sure because Tanisha, related party transactions will not give you that much comfort. Trust me. What I need to do is I need to check that, okay, whether all the data that should have been recorded are there in books of account. Or it might have happened that, okay, I have done refinancing, but I have not recorded in the books of account. So how can I ensure that all the refinancing have been recorded whether related with related party or whether with unrelated party. There is no missing out of any of the refinancing contract to be entered in books of account. How can I ensure that? Now, unrecording, not recording can be intentional, can be error. If it is an error, it's easy to check. But if it is intentional, then very difficult to check. But there are still some ways to check that. Come on, guys. Very good, Charu. Very good. Very good, Tanisha. So I'm talking about that how I can verify data not recorded in the books of account. I'll tell you simple way. If you want to test data which are not recorded, what you need to do is simply, okay, simply what is required to be done is check the payments made for refinancing. Okay. See, this is a company where the refinancing is done. Means first the company has to pay some amount to the data, accounts payable for other company, and they have to collect. Then they have to collect that amount. So either you can check for the payments made against the contract, or is there any payment which has been made but there is no contract for that, or what you can do is check the amounts collected from companies or amount received in the bank accounts. So you can check, okay, subsequently, let's say for example, not in this year, but in the coming year. Okay, let's say for example, you are performing the audit in the month of September or August for the previous year. So till August, you can go and check the bank accounts, okay, whether we have received any amount for which the contract was not executed at the particular point in time in that particular period, or the contract was supposed to be executed, but there is a delay in the execution of the contract and that has been not executed or recorded in that particular period. So by this way, you can check amount paid or collected in the subsequent period, okay, to identify whether the contract was supposed to be recorded in that period or not. So that's a simple way we can do, and we can ensure the completeness of the contracts that have been recorded. Very good, Tanisha. Amazing. So examining the selected cash disbursement in the period subsequent to the year end is the best audit procedure for determining the existence of unrecorded liabilities. By performing reconciliation of supplier statement, here completeness, existence and valuation can be ensured. Okay, very good. Okay, so now these are the options. So option number one was that relevance deals with the logical connection or with or bearing upon the purpose of audit procedure, and where appropriate the assertion under consideration. In the current case, testing account payable will give comfort on existence and valuation, but not on completion assertion. That is something we have already discussed just now. So, and that appears to be the correct answer. Second, relevance deals with the logical connection or bearing upon the purpose of audit procedure, and where appropriate assertions under consideration. In the current case, testing account people will give comfort on completeness, valuation, but not on existence. No, that is incorrect reason because we just now discussed that, current testing will not give comfort on the completeness. Third, relevance of the information to be used as the audit evidence. Okay. And therefore, audit evidence itself is influenced by the source and its nature and the circumstances under which it is obtained, including the controls over its preparation and maintenance where relevant. Okay. So the relevance of the audit information, the relevance of the information to be used as the audit evidence, and therefore the audit evidence itself is influenced by source and nature and the circumstances under which it is obtained. Generally, it is not influenced by the source and nature. Evidence is the evidence, so that's why it's, this particular one is not correct. And the D1 is that the relevance of the audit evidence is increased when it is obtained from independent source outside the entity. Again, that is not the correct one. And you guys tell me why. You tell me why the D1 is not correct. This one, why not correct? I'm telling you the answer, this is incorrect. But why? But why, guys? So I'm saying D is incorrect. You tell me why. The relevance of the audit evidence is increased when it is obtained from the independent source outside the entity. Why? Why this is wrong? What is the problem in this? Basic question. But then, Jigar, we say that, external confirmations are most, important audit evidence. So we should go for external confirmations rather than confirming from the, within the company. So in that case, we are more relying on the external confirmations. Very good, Kanisha. Amazing. External confirmations are also from the independent sources. Then why we are preferring the external confirmations in that case? If I'm saying this is wrong, then why we are preferring external confirmations? Nope, Shailesh. Why I'm saying the D is wrong? So I say that, okay, external confirmations, SA 505, we discussed that, it's very important to have external confirmations than to go for the internal one. Okay. Over there, we are preferring external confirmations more, but here I'm saying the answer number D is wrong. Why? I'm saying SF on one hand, I'm saying follow SF 505, use confirmation processes. But on the other hand, I'm saying that, relevance of the audit evidence is increased. It's not increased when it is obtained from independent source. I'm saying that D is wrong. Why? Good, Charu. Very good. So the point is when you obtain audit evidence from the independent source, at that particular point in time, the audit evidence is not more relevant, but it becomes more reliable. Okay. So we talk about reliable audit evidence, reliability of the audit evidence. So if the audit evidence is obtained from the independent sources, it is more reliable rather than the relevance. Relevance is something, the connection of the audit evidence for the purpose for which it is used. Logical connection for the purpose of the audit procedures. If I obtain data's confirmation to test legal expenses, although the confirmation will be reliable, more reliable than the internal documents, but that is not relevant for my legal expense. So the relevance and reliability are the two parts of the audit evidence that we need to consider from, in each and every scenario. So not necessary that reliability is equivalent to the relevance. So in most of the cases, they both are different. We need to see from that point of view. Clear? Any doubt with respect to this? Any doubt, guys? Good, Salish, Tanisha, Sandhya, Charu, Shruti, Jigar. Very good, guys. Geeta, very good. Uh, any doubt? Any of you doubt? Have any doubt? No? Okay. Thank you, Tanisha. Thank you, Salish. Yep. Okay, let's proceed further to the next question then. So the next question is, Mr. Sushil, while performing the audit of Hopes Private Limited, decided to appoint an auditor's expert for the actuarial calculation of liabilities associated with the insurance contract or employee benefit plans. Hopes Private Limited appointed Mr. Anand for the engagement in the actuarial calculation of liabilities and associated with the insurance contract or employee benefit plans. Okay, so Hope Private Limited appointed Mr. Anand for their actuarial valuations. Okay, now Mr. Anand calculation were accepted by the management and were incorporated in the financial statement. Mr. Sushil also appointed Mr. Anand, who was an expert in the actuarial calculation, knowing that he was also appointed by the management. As Mr. Anand was appointed subsequent to the completion of his work with Hopes Private Limited, but for the same financial year, Mr. Sushil was of opinion that Mr. Anand now will be the auditor's expert, not a management expert, as his contract with the company is over. Okay, so Mr. Sushil appointed Mr. Anand, but subsequent to the completion of his contract with Hopes Private Limited. Okay, so Mr. Sushil, that was the audit team part. He was of the view that that Mr. Anand now will be auditor's expert, not a management expert, as his contract with the company is over. Mr. Sushil was of the view that he is no longer a management expert. Okay, and Mr. Sushil is not required to comply with the requirements of engagement and quality control standard with respect to the management expert. Kindly guide Mr. Sushil with respect to the appointment of Mr. Anand as, auditor's expert. So first of all, why I have picked up this particular question is, you tell me that whether Mr. Anand is an auditor's expert or management expert. In this scenario, whether Mr. Anand is an auditor's expert or management expert. What he will be, whether he will be an auditor's expert or management expert. Come on, guys. Come on, quickly. Very good, Sandhya. Very good, Mohammed. Good, Geeta. Good, Tanisha. Good, Manoj. Yes, he is the management expert. Okay, that is confirmed that he is the management expert. Let us see the options now. Okay, SF500 does not deal with the auditor's use of work of an individual or organization possessing expertise in the field other than accounting or auditing, whose work in that field is used by the entity to assist the entity in preparing the financial statement, which is dealt in accordance with SA 600. Hence, Mr. Sushil is correct. Okay. So, question was kindly guide Mr. Sushil with respect to the appointment of Mr. Anand as an auditor's expert. So, whether Mr. Sushil can appoint or not, like that is the question. So, the option A is Mr. Sushil is correct because SA 500 does not deal with that, SA 600 deals with that. Option B is the auditor has a sole responsibility for the audit opinion expressed, and that responsibility is not reduced by the auditor's use of the work of an auditor's expert. Hence, it does not matter whether Mr. Anand is appointed as an auditor expert and Mr. Sushil is correct. This is the option B. Option C. SE 600 does not deal with the auditor use of work of an individual or organization possessing expertise in the field other than accounting or auditing, whose work in that field is used by entity to assist the entity in preparing the financial statement which are dealt in accordance with SA 500. Hence, Mr. Sushil is incorrect. If the auditor is using the work of an auditor's expert, having followed SA 600, concludes that the work of that expert is adequate for the auditor's purpose, the auditor may accept the finding or conclusion irrespective of the fact that the auditor expert was also management expert. So these are the options. Now you tell me which is the correct option. I'll zoom out a bit so that you can, see all the options together. Yeah. So these are the options A, B, C, D. Now you tell me which is the correct option. Come on, guys. Which one is the correct option? Good, Tanisha. Very good. Good, Manoj. Good, Geeta. Come on, guys. What is the correct option over here? What is the correct option? Good, Shruti. Very good. Come on, guys. Try. Let's try. Which is the correct option over here? Good, Shruti. Good, Mohammed. Very good. Let's discuss the options now in detail. Now, first of all, let's understand what the options are. The first option says that SA 500 does not deal with the use of auditors' work of an individual or organization possessing experts in the field other than accounting or auditing, whose work in that field is used by the entity to assist the entity in preparing the financial statement, which is dealt with in SA 600. Now, the question is that what is SA 500? Can anyone tell me the name of SA 500? And can anyone tell me the name of SA 600? SA 500? Which is SA 500? Pretty simple. Audit evidence. Very good. Audit evidence. And SA 600 using the work of another auditor. Okay. Fine. So we have two essays, SA 500 and 600. So option one is saying that SA 500 does not deal with the auditor use of the work of an individual or organization possessing expertise in the field other than accounting or auditing, whose work in that field is used by the entity to assist the entity in preparing the financial statement. Now, if I summarize this particular line from here, this is nothing but using the work of expert by management or kind of management's expert. So using the work of expert by management, that is something over here. Now it says that SA 500 does not deal with the using the work of management's expert, which is incorrect, because SA 500 is the one where management expert and how to validate its work is something mentioned. It is not mentioned in SA 600. SA 600 is the using the work of another auditor, not management expert. Hence, this option is incorrect. Option B, auditor has a sole responsibility for the audit opinion, and that responsibility is not reduced by the auditor use of work of another auditor's expert. Hence, it does not matter whether Mr. Anand appoint the auditor expert or it's a management expert. That is incorrect. It matters. It matters. This does not matter is not the correct one. It matters. whether the Mr. Anand is auditor expert or only management expert, because it's the question on objectivity, self review threat. That's why it's incorrect. Option C, SA 600 does not deal with individual work, and this is the work of work performed by management expert. So option C says that it is does not SA 600 does not deal with this, but SA 500 does, which is actually correct. And in the current case, Mr. Sushil is incorrect. That that he cannot appoint Mr. Anand as an auditor's expert. So this is the correct option. And why D is incorrect? Reason because, okay, if using the work of an auditor expert having follow SA 600 concludes that the work of expert is adequate, the auditor may accept the auditor expert's finding irrespective of the fact that expert was a management expert. But SA 600 first step is not applicable to this. And even after following the SA, if you appoint management expert as an auditor expert, it will still be counted as a conflict because of self-review threat, and you cannot accept the findings of that expert. Hence, D is also incorrect. So the correct option is C. Are you getting any doubt? Any doubt? So that's why Mr. Sushil is incorrect in option number C. He cannot appoint Mr. Anand as an auditor expert. Okay. Thank you, Tanisha. Okay. Great. So if we break down, the question into small chunks, and if we apply the practical approach, you will be able to get the answer. It's pretty easy. Okay. Now let's continue to the next question. That this question is in continuation of second one. Okay. In continuation of the above example, assuming Mr. Sushil does not hire Mr. decide not to hire Mr. Anand as an auditor expert, but rather decided to review his work as a management expert, then kindly guide Mr. Anand with respect to the requirement pertaining to information to be used as an audit evidence being prepared using the work of management expert. Number two, also kindly guide Mr. Sushil with respect to the matters which can impact nature, timing, and extent of audit procedures in relation to the information to be used as an audit evidence being prepared using the work of management expert. Now, we have discussed this when we were discussing SA 500. I mean, what are the points that are required to be, considered when we are using the work of management expert. So, what are the things that we need to take care before we use to the work that is performed by the management expert? The question is that kindly guide Mr. Anand with respect to the requirement pertaining to the information to be used as an audit evidence being prepared using the work of management expert. So what I am required to check with respect to the management expert over here as per SF 500? Come on, guys. As per SF 500, what is the requirement that when I'm using the work of management expert, what I'm required to check. If I decide, okay, now Mr. Anand is a management expert, I am not going to use him as a auditor's expert. But in actuarial valuations, if I want to use Mr. Anand's work, if I want to validate Mr. Anand's work, how can I do that? What things I need to take care while using the work of management expert? Come on, guys. We have discussed this one in our lecture also. So this is a pretty much, that same topic we are discussing. Very good, Mohammed. Okay, let's think practically. Okay, tomorrow if I say this is a work that has been performed by a management expert. Okay, now you are the part of auditing. What you will check first? I'll say, okay, this is a valuation done by a valuer appointed by the management. This is the actual valuation done by the valuer appointed by the management. Now I give you that particular. So management says, okay, we have appointed an independent valuer. We did valuations through that particular person. Whatever he gave the report, we accepted the report and we have recorded the liabilities based on that particular report, and we are giving you the report also as a part of audit evidence. Now, when you receive that report, what you will do first as your audit procedure, if you want to test that, okay, whether the actuarial valuation is correct or not, what you will do? Good, Shruti, very good. Okay, Geeta. Good, Tanisha. Very good, Sandhya. Come on, guys. What you will do, like, okay, let's say I appoint you, or you are being appointed to audit this particular area. Now, what you will do when you will receive the report of this expert, and management says we have relied upon this particular report, based on this we have booked our actual liabilities, actual valuations. So you can go ahead and you can check this report. What you will do? Very good, Tanisha. Very good. See, I'll suggest, try to write the answer in your own words as of now, or when you are giving answer over here, try to write it in your own words. Reason, because uh, as of now I have, that particular writing in your own words will help you to write the answer in exam also. So now if you write in your own words, that will be very, very, very useful. But Geeta, you are saying we should take confirmation from the management expert. But confirmation about what? Whether his work is correct? That's a question. If I talk about the confirmation, then what confirmation pertaining to what? Come on, guys. What you will do if you have been appointed to test this particular area, then what you will do? Okay, let me show you what we discussed in that particular lecture. Remember in chapter 5, when we were discussing, we discussed about the if the information is prepared by the management expert, then what we are required to do is we are required to check few things. Number one, that competency of that management expert, capabilities, objectivity. Objectivity means whether he is independent or not, so that it will help me to understand whether I can rely upon the work performed by the management that expert or not. Okay, so that was the competency capability part of the expert. Even we discussed one example in detail. Just let me show you an example. Yeah, remember we discussed this example. Uh, Now, this working was prepared by Mr. J, and I gave you three options. Mr. J is one of the sales agent. Mr. J was recently passed graduate, and Mr. J is son of MD. See, we were discussing about whether Mr. J was objectivity, competency, and capability of Mr. J being as an management expert. So we need to check what is the competency, capability, and objectivity of the management expert. Instead of Mr. J, it will be Mr. Anand. That who is the Mr. Anand? What is his qualifications? Whether he's related to any of the management's team member or something like that. Okay, whether he's a part of the creditors, vendors, or what is the role in the company, or is the independent. So I need to check Mr. Capability, competency, and objectivity of Mr. Anand. Then okay, once I check that, then I need to go for basically the assumptions taken by Mr. Anand, which are critical to the calculation. Okay, what assumptions he has taken. So if I go back to the notes, so I need to obtain an understanding of the work that has been performed by the expert. What he has performed, what assumptions he has taken, what method he has taken, whether that is appropriate or not. Then evaluation, the appropriateness of the expert work. For example, if he has calculated the actuarial liabilities or valuation of employee benefit liabilities or something like that, so it is relevant to that extent only. To the extent that I want to check valuation. If I want to check, okay, not the valuation, but completeness, cutoff, might not be relevant. This calculation of valuation might not be relevant for me. So again, I need to check the appropriateness of the expert's work, which includes the reliability and the relevance of the particular, expert work. So as an audit evidence for that relevant risk and assertion, whether that is relevant for that risk and assertions or not. So these are the three areas where I need to focus upon when I'm using the work of management expert. If I go to the answer, it's the same that when information to be used in audit evidence has been prepared using the work of management expert, the auditor shall, to the extent necessary, having regard to the significance of the expert work, evaluate the competency, capability, and objectivity of the expert, obtain an understanding of the work of that expert, evaluate the appropriateness of the expert's work as an audit evidence for the relevant assertion. Clear? Now, the second part of this particular question was that also guide Mr. Sushil with respect to the matters which can impact nature, timing, and extent. Okay, matters which can impact the nature, timing, and extent of the audit procedures in relation to the information to be used in an audit evidence prepared by the work of the management expert. Now, if I simplify this particular question, means what are the things that impact your nature, timing, and extent of the audit procedures in relation to the area where the work has been performed by the management expert? For example, actuarial valuation. Now, what are the factors that will impact the nature, timing, and extent of the audit procedures you need to perform in case of actuarial valuations? And that is pretty simple, trust me. What are the factors that affect the nature, timing, and extent of the audit procedures that you are required of? Means I'm asking you is what are the factors that can affect your testing? Means whether I need to test more, whether I need to test less. Okay, I need to perform additional testing, and I'm not required to perform additional testing. So what are those factors? Come on, guys. What are those factors which affect the nature, timing, and extent of your audit procedures? Okay, good, Tanisha, very good. Very good, Tanisha. What else, guys? Come on. What are the things that that will impact my nature, timing, and extent of the audit procedures? Yes, absolutely correct. Good, Tanisha, very good. When I talk about nature, timing, and extent, nature is what audit procedures you will perform. Nature of audit procedures. Timing means when you will perform at the year end, at the start of the audit, middle of the audit. How much, duration, like for example, how many times you will perform that procedures. And extent, when I talk about with respect to how many samples you will take, what, multiple audit procedures you will perform, whether you will go for external confirmation, internal confirmation, or whether you will hire, extent is how much deep or, detailed testing you will perform. So what are those factors which affect the nature, timing, and extent of audit procedures? And trust me, this is very easy. Just try. I'll suggest just try. Your answer will be correct. Come on, guys. Come on, guys, quickly. Very good, Mohammed. Very good. What else? See, okay, let's discuss the answer. It's pretty simple. Trust me, basic answer that is there. So the factors which affect the nature, timing, and extent of the audit procedures are nature and complexity of the matter to which management experts relate to. For example, actuarial valuation or how much complex the matter is, risk to material misstatement in the matter, availability of the alternate resource of the audit evidence, nature and scope and objective of management experts' work, management expert is whether management expert is employed by the entity or is a party engaged to provide relevant services, whether he is a independent or is a part of management, extent to which management can exercise control or influence over the work of management expert, whether the management expert is subject to the technical performance standards or other professional industry requirements, and the nature and extent of any controls within the entity over the management expert's work. These are the factors which affect the nature, timing, and extent of the audit procedure that auditor is required to. Clear? Any doubt with respect to this, guys? Any doubt? Also, there are two more factors that will be, important. That is the auditor's knowledge and experience in the expert's field. Okay, and the auditor's previous experience with the expert. So these all will together decide that how much audit procedures I need to perform. That is the nature, timing, and extent of the audit procedure. Clear? Any doubt, guys? Any doubt with respect to this? Any doubt? No? Okay, great. If no doubts, then we can proceed forward. Okay, let's take one more question before the break, and then we can proceed to the break. So let's take one more question. Okay. Again, a basic question. What we have discussed on the similar lines, There is not much difficulty in this. Mr. Charan, while performing the audit of Red Rock and Silver Sand Limited, who was involved in phosphorus mining, decided to appoint an auditor's expert for the valuation of environmental liabilities and site cleanup. Red Rock and Silver Sands Limited reappointed Mr. Sunil for this engagement as an independent expert. For the last 5 years, management has been reappointing Mr. Sunil. Mr. Sunil calculated the environmental liabilities pertaining to the completed mining sites and the sites which will be discarded in the near future and a provision for cleanup cost. This provision was accepted by management. Mr. Charan, after performing inquiries with the management, was of the opinion that the objectivity of the independent cannot be questioned just because he was appointed by management as their expert. Okay. So Mr. Charan, after performing inquiries with the management, was of the opinion that the objectivity of the independent expert cannot be questioned just because he was appointed by management as their expert. Hence, there is no need to raise a question on the objectivity of Mr. Sunil or on his work performed for the company. However, the audit partner of the opinion that the audit team needs to evaluate the objectivity of the expert engaged by the entity, irrespective of the fact whether he was appointed as an independent expert. So what partner is saying that audit team needs to evaluate the objectivity irrespective of the fact whether he's appointed independent expert or not. Kindly guide audit partner and Mr. Charan with respect to the requirement pertaining to evaluating the objectivity of the management expert. Now we are only talking about objectivity of the management expert. So Mr. Sunil is being appointed, is being reappointed since last 5 years as a management expert. Okay. And he is the, independent expert that was appointed by the management. Now you tell me, kind of here, like what are the things that I need to take care with respect to only objectivity of the expert? When I need to validate the objectivity of the expert, what I need to think about? Can I say I need to validate the objectivity here, or if there are two questions? Number one, should I validate the objectivity? Yes or no? If yes, then why? If no, then why? That's the thing. And I need to, consider the fact that Mr. Sunil is an independent auditor's, independent management expert. So he's an independent. Should I evaluate the objectivity? Yes. Then why? If no, then why? Mr. Sunil is the independent management expert. Come on, guys. So what are the things that I need to consider when I want to evaluate the objectivity? Should I evaluate or should I not? Should I evaluate or not? If yes, then why? If no, then why? No, see, in this question, if I talk about this particular question, Mr. Charan, okay, Mr. Charan, he is the auditor who was involved, Mr. Charan, while performing the audit. So, Mr. Charan is the auditor, part of audit team. Okay, he is the part of audit team. Okay, and Mr. Sunil, he is an independent expert appointed by management. Mr. Sunil is an independent expert. So Red Rock Silver Sands Limited reappointed Mr. Sunil. He is the management expert. Okay. So Mr. Charan is the part of audit team. Mr. Sunil is the expert. And there is another audit partner whose name is not there, but his the audit partner is mentioned. So in this current scenario, whether Mr. Sunil's objective is required to be evaluated or not. Should we evaluate Mr. Sunil's objectivity? Now he is an independent expert. Then do you think his objectivity is required to be evaluated? Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Should I consider the objectivity or not? Okay, good Geeta, good Shruti, good Mohammed, good Manoj, very good. Good Tanisha. Okay, I'll tell you the detail over here. See, whenever there is a management expert, whenever there is a management expert, irrespective of the fact that whether he is the independent expert or not, the moment he is a management expert, I need to comply with SA 500. I need to check for objectivity. There is no question in that. There is no question in that. I need to check for objectivity. The reason that he is an independent expert appointed by management does not relieve me from checking the objectivity of the expert. An expert being appointed, reappointed by the management, yes, there are chances there could be impairment of objectivity, but I need to evaluate that. I cannot straight away say that there is no requirement for objectivity. No, SA 500 says that I need to check competency, capability, and objectivity of that expert. In any case, if that is a management expert, in any case, I cannot waive off the requirement. I cannot forget the requirement of objectivity. So there is no doubt that I, you know, that I should not check objectivity. By default, I have to check objectivity. By default. Management expert, irrespective of that, I need to check objectivity. Now the question comes is that, when I'm checking the objectivity, there are few scenarios that, I need to pay attention to. For example, uh, financial interest object of that particular, person in the entity. Although he's an independent expert, but whether he's having any financial interest. Number two, how much he is concerned with this particular entity. For example, when I talk about this entity, then whether he is having any other business or personal relationship. Number three, other than providing these services, like expert services of valuation or whatever he's doing as an expert, other than that, what he's doing for the entity. Based on these things, I can understand, okay, whether is there any issue with the objectivity of the expert or not. Okay, so let us see the answer on the similar line. SA 500, SA 500 audit evidence, when information to be used in audit evidence has been prepared using the work of a management expert, the auditor shall, to the extent necessary, having regard to the significance of expert work for the auditor's purpose, evaluate competency, capability, and objectivity of the expert. There is no doubt that I can miss out any of the area out of these three. If the person is a management expert, by default, I am required to check competency, capability, and objectivity. Now, a broad range of circumstances may threaten objectivity. For example, self-interest threat, advocacy threat, familiarity threat, self-review threat, intimidation threat, and safeguards may reduce such threat and may be created by external structure. For example, like if there is any legislation under which the expert is working, if there are any standards based on which the expert is working. So safeguards could be there, but there is a chance of threat. Okay. Although safeguards cannot eliminate all threats to the management expert's objectivity, threats such as intimidation threat may be of less significance to the expert engaged by the entity than to expert employed by the entity. And the effectiveness of the safeguard, such as quality control policies and procedures, may be of greater use. So, as I said, safeguards can be there. They can reduce a threat to objectivity to a certain limit. But again, from case to case basis, it will reduce the threat to the objectivity to that particular extent. For example, when I talk about self-interest threat, okay, if there are safeguards that the person should not be interested into entity, yes, it will reduce. But advocacy threat, so the policies on the self-interest threat will not, prevent advocacy threat or familiarity threat. So again, what safeguards are applied, that depends upon, the scenario, and that particular safeguard might impact only or might address to only one type of threat, not all the threats. For example, self-review threat. Okay. Now there could be some policies that the management expert should not review his own work, but that policy will not stop that particular expert from acquiring interest in the entity. Or if I say I have a policy that the management expert should not have interest in the entity, that will not stop the expert from, providing any advocating the client or, promoting the client, which will create advocacy threat. So same way, if the safeguards are there, for example, policies and procedures, then to what extent they are catering to which threat, that is required to be seen. Okay. And because the threat to objectivity created being by an employee of the entity will always be present, an expert employed by the entity cannot ordinarily be regarded as more likely to be objective than employees of the entity. Means, although he is an independent expert, still he is appointed by the management, and I cannot say that he's an independent expert means he has more objectivity. No. Because he's been appointed by the management, I need to take his objectivity at par compared to the other employees of the company. An expert employed by the entity cannot ordinarily be regarded as more likely to be objective than other employees. Means if Mr. J is there, for example, I'm talking about, Mr. J coming into the picture again, expert. If he's son of MD, although he is appointed as an expert, I cannot say, he's an appointed as an expert because that's why his objective is not impaired. No, it's not the case. I need to go beyond his expertise, beyond management expert, and I need to check what role he's playing in the entity. How is he's interested? Whether is there any thread other than what I know as in management expert? Then only I can say his objectivity is there or not. Clear with this? Any doubt, guys? Any doubt? So again, the examples that I gave you, interest and relationship that may create threat is financial interest, business, personal relationship, provisions of other services. Okay. And accordingly, audit team should evaluate the objectivity of expert engaged by the entity because the threat to objectivity created being an employee of the entity will always be present. An expert employed by an entity cannot be ordinarily regarded as more likely to be objective than other employees. As a result, audit partner is correct in his views. Clear? Any doubt? Any doubt? To conclude, if he is a management expert, doesn't make any difference for me. The moment he is a management expert, I need to check his objectivity, irrespective whether he's an independent or not. Any doubt, guys? Any doubt? Any doubt, guys? Any doubt? Okay. So the statement or the line which I'm referring here is that an expert employed by the entity cannot ordinarily be regarded as more objective. Means I'm saying that, okay, Mr. J is an expert. Now, if he's appointed by the entity, because he's appointed as an expert, he's more objective. That statement will be wrong. Okay. Now, if I say Mr. J is an appointed as an expert, and as I appointed him expert, he's more objective than the employees of the company, that is wrong. For example, let's say there are three employees in the company. Mr. X, Mr. Y, and Mr. Z. So what I did is I asked Mr. Z to resign. These are employees. Okay. I asked Mr. Z to resign and then asked Mr. Z hired again Mr. Z as management expert. So earlier Mr. Z was employed. I asked him to resign and now I hired Mr. X as a Z as a management expert. Can I say that Mr. Z is now management expert? So he is more objective than the Mr. X and Mr. Y who are employees of the company? Answer is no. An expert employed by the entity cannot ordinarily be regarded as more objective than the other employees of the company. So I cannot take Mr. X, Mr. Z objectivity higher than the X and Y. No, that will be incorrect. So that's the particular statement I'm talking about here. I hope I'm clear, Mohammed, with this particular your doubt. Any other questions, guys? Any doubts? Definitely, Charu. Anup, you can say somewhere, near to end of January. Okay. If no further doubts, let's take a quick 10-minute break. And after the break, we'll gather back and continue the session. Okay. Let's take a quick 10-minute break. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the session. Okay, so let's continue the session and discussions. So we were doing a practical scenarios, practical questions. We were discussing upon few questions about whatever we have done till now. Just a minute. Let's go back to that. Okay. So we discussed about essay 500 questions, essay 501 questions. Now let's discuss few more questions so that we could have a better understanding on this. Okay. So next question is, Mr. Charan, while testing the manual journal entries posted into the company's ERP system, decided to draw samples from the manual journal entry listing provided by the management. As soon as Mr. Charan received the MS Excel based listing from management by email, he performed the following procedures on that listing. He calculated the total number of manual journals in the list. He identified high value journals, journals posted on holidays, journal near to period end, journals with round figures, and below the specified threshold and other relevant data analytics. Based on the analytics, he selected high risk journals for the testing purpose. Then no other procedures were performed on that listing. Mr. Charan did not identify any observation on the testing. However, audit partner denied to rely on the testing performed by Mr. Charan after reviewing his work paper. Kindly guide Mr. Charan with respect to the views of audit partner by selecting appropriate option from below. So Mr. Charan decided to test manual journal entries posted into company's ERP system. For that, Mr. Charan received MS Excel based listing from management by email. He calculated the total manual journal entries in the list. He identified high values journals and performed some data analytics like journals near to period end or posted on holidays or something like that. And based on analytics, he picked high risk journals for testing and tested the same. No other procedures were performed. Mr. Charan did not identify any observation based on testing, but partner is saying, I will not rely upon the testing because there is issue in the testing. You identify what is the issue, why partner is not relying, or you can, the other option is partner is incorrect because the testing is performed appropriately. So there are two scenarios. Either there is an issue in the testing or partner is incorrect. So you need to identify whether partner is incorrect or there is an issue in the testing. If issue in the testing, then what is the issue? Okay. So either there is an issue in the testing or the partner is incorrect because he is not relying upon the testing. So you need to guide whether partner is incorrect or there is an issue in the testing. Come on, guys. Again, very interesting question because this will be, like is based on what we, already have learned and, discussed in the lecture. Come on, guys. We need to understand whether the partner is incorrect or is there is any, issue in the procedure performed. What do you think? Whether the partner is incorrect or the issue in the procedure performed. Come on, guys, quickly. Who has to perform? Like, what is the problem in this procedure that has been performed, or whether the partner is incorrect? Come on, guys, quickly. If you are saying partner is correct and Mr. Charan is incorrect, then why? What is the problem in the testing that has been performed by Mr. Charan? Okay, good, Charu. But here the partner is saying that he will not rely upon the procedures performed by the Mr. Charan. Now, see, when I say that I will not rely upon the work performed, that is a very big thing. But but there is something very important missed out here. When I say not rely, see, there are two things, not relying and not adequate. If there is something additional could be performed, then I could say, okay, the work is not adequate. But I'm saying I will not rely at all. Okay, you need to, look into the terminology over here. I'm saying the work is not adequate is a different story. I will not rely upon the work totally. That's a different story. If you have missed out one procedure, I can say, okay, the work is not adequate. Or to that particular assertion, let's say, for example, if I missed unpredictability in sampling, I could say, okay, one or two assertions might not be sufficient or might not have been complied with, or I could say the this evidence that has been collected is not adequate. But the testing is still relevant, but this audit evidence that has been collected is not adequate. But here in the another case, I'm thinking I will not rely at all. Means the evidence which I have collected is not at all useful. Why? Very good, Surya. Surya. Very good. Something on similar lines, Surya. Just a bit more onto your answer. You need to go on to that particular line only. Okay, your answer is correct, but something additional is also there on the similar line. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Come on, quickly. What do you think is the problem? Come on, guys. Okay, Mohammed, good. Okay, Geeta, good. Yes, you need to write answer in the chat, Surya. Okay, Geeta, good. Okay, very good, Surya, very good. Very good, Charu. Amazing. Okay, let's understand this particular scenario in detail. Okay, what is the problem here? See, now whenever we are using something that is provided by the entity, okay, whenever we are using something which is provided by the entity, there are some things that we need to first take care of. In chapter 5, in the start, when we were discussing about this particular area, we talked about information produced by the entity, system generated reports. So at that particular point in time, we discussed, remember that if we are using any information or report that is generated by the entity, information produced by the entity, we need to check for the reliability and the relevance for the auditor's purpose, which includes accuracy and completeness. If I talk about the example that we discussed at that particular point in time, just let me go to the example. So basically, remember somewhere we were discussing about the inventory listing that was prepared by the management. Okay, in count one, we were discussing something about the inventory listing. We need to make sure that the inventory listing which is being given is complete or not. When we were discussing about the count area, inventory count. Okay. Also, for example, if I talk about other reports which are prepared by the management, we need to make sure that these system generated reports or the reports which are given by the management, that is known as the information that is produced by the entity, should be complete. We need to perform some procedures to ensure that that particular information that is given to us should be complete. For example, in this case, now an MX Excel based listing is provided. Okay, this particular is first raises a question to me. MX Excel based listing. Now that is shared by the management on email. Now this raises the question on completeness and accuracy of that list. Now, if that is raising a issue on completeness and accuracy of that list, I need to perform some procedures, to ensure completeness and accuracy. What could I have done more here is I could have validated the total manual journal entries with manual journal entries appearing in system. Second, I could have validated total amount of manual journal entries as appearing in system and in Excel. Okay. If I had done it, then I could have said, okay, when I do total of manual journal entries with Excel and system, I'm getting the completeness. when I'm doing, total of amount, I'm getting the accuracy. So the list is accurate and complete because I verified the the data which is there in the ERP system and the data which is there in the Excel system, but this has not been performed. Means you are not sure about the population itself. So any audit procedure we will perform on the data where the population itself is not complete will not give you any comment. So that's the problem over here. That the population is not, we are not sure that the population is complete and accurate. So there, if the population is not complete and accurate, how many procedures I have performed, whatever procedures I have performed, doesn't make any difference for me. The options are: when the auditor intends to use information produced by entity for other audit purposes, in such case, an effective test will not provide appropriate audit evidence to that extent. Taken with other audit evidence obtained or to be obtained will be sufficient for the auditor's purpose. Again, when auditor intend to use information produced by the entity for other audit purpose, in such a case, an effective test will not provide appropriate audit evidence to that extent taken with other audit evidences. That is option one. Option two, the auditor may decide that it would be most appropriate to examine the entire population of the items that make up the class of transaction or account balance. Okay. Third, when using information produced by entity, the auditor shall evaluate whether the information is sufficiently reliable for the auditor's purpose, including as the necessary in the circumstances, obtaining audit evidence about accuracy and completeness of the information. And the fourth is obtaining audit evidence from different source or different nature and may indicate that an individual item of audit evidence is more reliable, such as when the audit evidence obtained from one source is different with the other one. So these are the options. What is the correct option? What is the correct option, guys? Good, Shruti. Good, Charu. Very good. Correct, Mohammed. Correct, Surya. Correct, Geeta. Very good. Okay. So, yes, we know the answer C is the correct that we just now discussed. Okay. This is the correct answer, C. I'll tell you why the others are not correct. Because, I know the correct answer, but we should also know why are not correct other ones. So, option A, when the auditor intend to use information produced by entity for other audit purposes, in such case, an effective test will not provide appropriate audit evidence. That is wrong. An effective test will provide this particular thing. Not provide is not correct. It will provide appropriate audit evidence to that extent taken with the other audit evidence. So an effective test is necessary at that particular point in time. That's why this is wrong. B, a auditor may decide that it will be most appropriate to examine the entire population of the item. Again, if you examine entire population, if you will not go on sample basis, that is it might result in a lot of time, and that is not an appropriate way of audit. So examining the entire population is not correct. When the population is large, or when the population contains a lot of line items or items of small amount at that particular point in time, examining the entire population is not relevant. I will say not appropriate rather. C, we know it's correct. D, obtaining audit evidence from different sources of a different nature may indicate that an individual item of audit evidence is more reliable, such as when the audit evidence obtained from one source is different with the obtained from another. Now you guys tell me why the D is wrong. Why you guys say D is wrong, incorrect? Why you guys say D is incorrect? Okay, good Shruti, good Charu, very good. Why D is incorrect? Oh, Shruti, your is the answer for the option A or it's a question? I'm not able to understand that one. Come on, guys. I'm talking about like why option D is incorrect over here. Okay, Shruti. After this, I'll definitely take up this one. Just let me close the option D and I'll take it the option E also. So, guys, why option D is incorrect? Why I'm saying option D is incorrect? What is the reason? Why I am saying option D is incorrect? Read the option and then think what is not appropriate over here. Why I'm saying it is incorrect? Because in exam it is more important to understand the why the options are wrong compared to which option is right. So Shruti, Charu, Geeta, Surya, Mohammed, why do you think option D is wrong? Like you all, gave the correct answer. That is, option C is right. That's the correct answer. But why D is wrong? Very good, Mohammed. Absolutely correct. Come on, guys. Why I am saying option D is wrong. Come on, guys. Okay. So, so if I talk about obtaining audit evidence, okay, or if I talk about option D talks about obtaining audit evidence from one different source or different nature may indicate that an individual item of evidence is more reliable, such as when audit evidence, focus on this line, when audit evidence obtained from one source is different with the obtained from another. Means there is a conflict. When I call about different, there is a conflict in two different audit evidence that makes audit evidence less reliable. There is a conflict in audit evidence, and that makes audit evidence less reliable instead of more reliable. So this more is incorrect. That should be less reliable because there is a conflict, and hence option D is incorrect. Clear? Any doubt? Yeah. So there was one question with respect to option A. That is, I'll explain again the option A. When auditor intend to use information produced by the entity for other audit purposes, in such a case, effective test will not provide appropriate audit evidence. That is incorrect. Effective test will provide appropriate audit evidence. So, if I use that particular effective test, okay, any test, effective test means that particular test or testing procedure, and if I gather audit evidence taken with other audit evidence, so with other audit evidence, if I compare that audit evidence, okay, obtained or to be obtained will be sufficient for the auditor purpose. Means I'm saying that audit evidence I obtained from the the testing I provided over the information produced by the entity, plus other audit evidences that I already obtained or I will be obtained. Together, they both will be sufficient. That is the correct. That is I'm saying that the that the testing performed over here MJE is good. That the other audit evidence I have obtained, but effective test on the information produced by the entity, that is validating the total MJE and validating the total amount of MJE, together both will give me the comfort. That was option A. But option A had a word not in between. Effective test will not provide. That is incorrect. It will provide. That is the main thing that I need to think about. That effective test along with other audit procedures will give me the comfort. I hope I'm clear. Any doubt, guys? See, in exam, it is very, very important to understand why a option is incorrect. Why a option is incorrect. See, you might be having the answer, right answer, why the option is correct. But at the same time, we need to make sure that why the option is incorrect, so that we can surely confirm this is the answer. At times, what will be the scenario is option A is also correct, B is also correct. Okay, the out of four options, two will be straight away you can identify they are incorrect. But there will be a dilemma between two options. In that scenario, if you are able to identify which one is not correct, the remaining one will automatically be will correct. So always, understand why the option is not correct by slowly reading the option, focusing on each and every word, Specifically, I'll tell you the word which are like not or which negate the whole sentence. For example, if says that for example, this will be provided, this will not be provided. Whenever there's a negate in the sentence, always pay attention what it is doing, what to which particular area it is negating. Okay, always pay attention to each and every word in your option. Do not read speedily. Okay, I did a scanning and done. Okay, no, scanning will create problem because scanning, there is a technique like I'm not sure you are aware of this technique or not. Most of people say skim or scan the question, focus on the important words, and then try to answer the question basically. So that saves the time, but that is very dangerous. Reason because if you skim or kind of scan the question for the keywords, what will happen is you are only focusing on keyword. But what if the word is important and you did not focus? What will happen at that particular point in time? For example, not the whole line, the meaning of the whole line can get opposite if I add a word not somewhere in the between. That's why it's very important to read the question with a calm mind, with normal pace. Do not read the question in the speed. No, calm mind, normal pace. Read the question, focus on the question, the scenario, what is asked. In each and every question, you have these two things. Okay, one, you have been given with a scenario. This is, for example, in this question, this particular one. Okay, here is a scenario. And if I ask this from this particular point to this particular point is a question. Okay, about the scenario. Always read twice the question, I would say. After reading the scenario, read twice the question, what is asked in the question. Okay. So for example, in previous one, this whole was scenario. Facts and information kind of. When I say scenario, that is facts and information. This is nothing but my, till here, this particular point is fact and information or scenario. But from here, if I talk about, till here is the question. That is very important because that gives us the clarity what we need to write, what we need to answer. That is something discussed over here. So read the question thoroughly. When I say question is a part of the question within the whole question itself. Read twice if possible so that you know what you need to write. Any doubt, guys? Charu, I will take up the doubt of of the module at the end because there are a few more questions that I want to cover today. Let me take up your doubt at the end. Any doubt with respect to these questions, guys? Any questions? No? Okay. Let's continue. One big question I want to cover, very important one and a kind of case study type of scenario. Mr. Subhash was the audit manager for Malpensa Trading Limited, involved in the manufacturing of a packed food items with a shelf life of 6 months. packed food items with a shelf life of 6 months. While performing the audit, Mr. Subhash identified the majority of the inventory material to the financial statement, okay, and as a whole. So the inventory was material amount, okay, was lying with a third party, that is Soho Traders. Upon inquiry, it was identified that the Soho Traders was sole proprietary concern of Mr. Ajit, the director's son of Malpensa Trading Limited. Soho Traders was the sole authorized distributor for the company, and hence it was normal practice that the company followed, that is to keep the inventory at the godown maintained by the Soho Traders. As per the company, this practice was followed with the other dealers also. Okay. Now, second is at the request of management and after providing details to confirm, Soho Traders issued a direct confirmation to Subhash confirming the company's inventory lying with them and its perfect conditions, not requiring any provision on them. Mr. Subhash also performed aging analysis procedure for inventory and amount receivable from Soho Traders to obtain more evidence with respect to existence of inventory, which is given below. So this is the aging analysis which was performed by Mr. Subhash. Okay. So like aging 0 to 30, 30 to 90, inventory, AR, everything is given in amount in lakhs. And no provision was created on inventory or receivable. After reviewing the audit working papers of Mr. Subhash, the audit partner was unhappy and was not satisfied with the testing performed by Subhash. As per audit partner, external confirmations are not reliable and hence Mr. Subhash was supposed to perform other procedures. However, Mr. Subhash has a different opinion. Now, this is something, has been performed by Mr. Subhash over here. But audit partner is saying that, in this scenario, external confirmation is not reliable. Why? And what is the problem in this scenario? Mr. Subhash has verified the aging and he is saying that, no provision is required. He has also taken a confirmation, external confirmation from Soho Traders. And there was a direct confirmation to Mr. Subhash. So I'm saying that, okay, a direct confirmation to Subhash about company's inventory lying with them. At the request of management, this was provided. Okay. And, this particular detailed inventory and aging analysis was done by Mr. Subhash. Mr. Subhash performed aging analysis procedures. And no provision was created on inventory or receivable, and Mr. Subhash verified that there is no requirement of provision. Then what is the issue over here? Why audit partners have, every time issue? Kind of, that's a scenario over here. Why audit partner is unhappy? So let's first talk about the confirmation over here. What is the problem with the confirmation received? What is the problem here with the confirmation, guys? The confirmation we have received, what is the problem? Okay, Geeta, good. Good, Mohammed, very good. Let's go with the one by one with confirmation process. He has obtained confirmation. Now, what is the problem with confirmation? So direct confirmation has been given to Mr. Subhash. Why I cannot rely? What is the problem in the confirmation? What is the problem in the confirmation, guys, over here? Okay, good Geeta, good Mohammed. What else? But is there some problem other than this? Okay, I understand he is a relative, but being a relative or a related party is not a problem. Being a relative or related party is not a problem. There should be something else. If I'm saying there is a problem. See, just because he is a related party, the confirmation is not reliable, that is not appropriate. Just because he is a relative party and I say confirmation is not reliable because he is a relative party is not appropriate. What is the problem then? Come on, guys, quickly. Just because he is relative, I cannot say, the confirmation is not reliable. Sorry, that is not the correct one. What is the problem in the confirmation process? Quickly. Good, Charu. Very good. Very good, Geeta. Yes. So a lot of you have already figured it out, that particular point. But again, I want to highlight one thing. So when I talk about the confirmation over here, okay. So at the request of the management and after providing details to confirm. Understand, at the request of the management and after providing the details to confirm means the details were provided to sole traders to confirm. What is the confirmation thing? In confirmation, we are the ones who roll out the confirmation, correct? But here the confirmation details, everything was provided by management and then the sole traders only confirmed to us. That is incorrect. We were not having the control over the confirmation process. If we are not having the control over the confirmation process, then that's an issue for us. That's an issue for us. So that's why I can say, confirmation is not reliable for me. Number two, why there's an issue in the testing is I am saying the shelf life of 6 months. The inventory has a packed food items with a shelf life of 6 months. But I can see aging in the inventory for more than 6 months over here. If you see this one, this one, this one. So I have inventory which is having shelf life, which is aged more than 6 months. But as per the shelf life, none of the inventory should be more than 6 months. Means these all are expired items. Expired items which are kind of require 100% provision because they are expired. They cannot be sold now. Either they will be scrapped or something like that. So a provision is required on this. Even on the receivables, if the amount is there on the receivable side, okay, aging receivables, then again, I need to have a provision, but receivable here is not that much relevant. In the current scenario, receivable as of now is not that much relevant. But again, if you see, inventory is expired one and no provision has been created. Plus, in the confirmations, I have provided the details of the confirmation to management, or management has provided confirmation details to Soho traders. That's why in both of the scenario, the evidence that I have received as a confirmation is not reliable because that is incorrect. Now let us see the answer. So the first question was with respect to kindly guide Mr. Subhash with respect to integrity and objectivity of the external confirmation received from third party. Now, whenever I write answer, as I told you multiple times, that we need to make sure that we write the relevant essay. So let's start with essay 501 because that is the audit evidence and specific consideration for the selected items which include inventory. So essay 501, uh, when the inventory under custody and control of a third party is material to the financial statement, the auditor shall obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence regarding the existence and condition of that inventory by performing one or both of the following. Request confirmation from third party as to the quantities and conditions of inventory held on behalf of entity and perform inspection or other audit procedures appropriate in the circumstances. Depending on the circumstances, for example, their information is obtained that raises doubt about the integrity of the third party, okay, the auditor may consider it appropriate to perform other audit procedures instead of or in addition to confirming with the third party. So in this case, it is creating doubt about the integrity and objectivity of the third party. Number two, as per SA 505, audit evidence is more reliable when it's obtained from independent source outside the entity. However, audit evidence obtained directly by the auditor is more reliable than the audit evidence obtained indirectly or by inference. Moreover, when using external confirmation procedures, the auditor shall maintain control over external confirmation request. Here, we were not having control because what information is to be confirmed was provided by management to Soho traders. Soho traders then send us the confirmation. Means we were not, having the control over the confirmation request process. When the auditor concludes that the response is unreliable of the confirmation, the auditor may need to revise the risk assessment on the risk of material misstatement at the assertion level and modify the planned audit procedures accordingly in accordance with SA 315. For example, an unreliable response may indicate a fraud risk factor that requires evaluation in accordance with SA 240. In the current scenario also, if we see that, confirmation also management interfere. Plus, when Soho Trader replied, he has so much of aging, but management is not taking any provision. So there are indications of fraud as per SA 240. Hence, Mr. Subhash did not exercise control over external confirmation request as he did not determine the information to be confirmed or requested from Soho traders. As a result, confirmation received cannot be considered reliable. So the confirmation here is not reliable. Then the next part is, just a minute. Yeah. The next part is this one, that in light of the above scenario, kindly guide Mr. Subhash with respect to the factors to consider when designing confirmation. So if Mr. Subhash has to design the confirmations, what things are required to be considered by designing? Like what to be included, what is required to be included in confirmation? So what are those factors that are required to be considered while designing the confirmation request? So guys, give me the answer that, okay, what are the factors that Mr. Subhash should consider when he is designing the confirmation request, which will be sent to the Soho traders? What thing he thinks, he should pay focus on to? Come on, guys. Factors factors to be considered when designing confirmation request. What are those factors? What are the factors that are required to be considered while designing a confirmation request? So when you are designing the confirmation request, what factors you will consider? Like on what items I should pay attention? So let's say if I'm sending a confirmation to debtor or if I'm sending a confirmation to bank, they both will be different to some extent because one is going to bank, one is going to debtor. So there are some factors on the basis of which a difference is there in the confirmation. I decide, okay, what to include, what not to include. So what are those factors? Come on, guys. What are those factors? Very good, Charu. Very good. Very good, Geeta. So which are those factors that play an important role in designing the confirmation? Come on, guys. Which are those factors? Try to answer. Think, okay, if I'm designing a confirmation, I need to send the data to external legal confirmation, external legal party, or legal counsel, or a bank. What are the factors that differentiate a confirmation which is sent to the to daters, to bank, to external, legal counsel, or to some other party? Okay, what is the differentiating or distinguishing factor in those confirmations? On what basis you decide? Okay, will you send the same confirmation which you send to bank to external legal counsel, or will you send the same confirmation that you are sending to the legal counsel, external legal counsel, to datas? There should be some differences should be there. Then on what basis you define that differences? On what basis you are defining those differences? Come on quickly. No, I'm saying, Geeta, what is the differentiating factor? I will not draft the same document if I'm drafting a document for the external confirmation, okay, which I'll be sending to the data, will I use the same document for the external legal counsel, or will I use the same document for bank confirmation, or there will be different, or I will use a different document? If I use a different document, then what is the change that I will make in that document? What are those factors based on which I will do the changes? understand the question. I'm asking the factors based on which your confirmation will differ or designing will be dependent upon. Okay, Jigar? Very good, Jigar. Yes. So let's, this is the one of the factor that you are seeing that, okay, what I will ask from that particular party. For example, Jigar, you are saying that, okay, I will ask daters to send ledger. That you are, what you are asking them is a one of the factor based on which your confirmation will be dependent. Okay. So if you'll ask daters, if you ask the data to send a ledger, you might ask a bank to confirm the balance. So what you are asking is a factor on the basis of which your confirmation designing will depend. Yes, good, Jigar. Yes. So that is a one of the factor. So in the similar line, what are the other factors based on which your confirmation will be dependent? Good, Tanisha. Guys, try to answer in your own words. I know you have module available with you. It can be easily, figured it out from where the question is there from the module, but I want you to answer in your own words. Don't use the module for answering. Try to answer in your own words, and yes, then for then you can use the module, for checking your answers, that okay, whatever answer I have written, to what extent it is similar with the answer in the module or the the particular paragraph in the module. I'll tell you the reason why. Today, if you will directly use the module to just take the answer from that and paste it here, your answer will be correct. I'm damn sure your answer will be correct. Okay. But in exam, you will not have that liberty to do that in referring the module. In exam, you need to write whatever is there in your mind. You have to write in your own words. Now that will become a problem later on, because right now you are referring, every time you are just, giving the answer what is there in the module, you are just seeing the module and writing the answer that is there. I don't deny the answer is incorrect. Answer is correct. Uh, but if you are referring anything, then you need to write your answer, or if you're referring any of the notes or anything, write answer in your own words. Reason, because in exam you need to write it in your own words. So Charu, if you don't have the study material, you can download it from the website. It is available on the website. So there on the BOS website, you have an option to download the study material. So as you can download the latest study material from there. It is available on there. Okay, so let us see the answer. So what are the factors when I talk about? The factors are the assertions being addressed. Assertions being addressed means what assertion I'm trying to address through confirmation, whether it's a completeness, accuracy, existence. So for example, if I'm sending a bank confirmation, okay, bank confirmation. And in that bank confirmation, there could be two ways I could send it. Number one, blank or with balance. If I send blank and bank confirms some balance in accounts, that will ensure completeness and existence. Plus accuracy also, as someone can say. But if I provide a confirmation to bank with balance and bank confirms yes, these are the balance, then I am ensuring only existence and accuracy, not completeness. Because I am the one who is giving listing to the bank and bank only confirming that particular listing. So the assertions that you want to target, based on that, your confirmation will depend upon how you want to draw. Specific identified risk of material misstatement, including fraud risk. If there is a fraud risk, then you need to draft your confirmation in a specific way so that you can address that fraud risk. Layout and presentation of the confirmation request. Prior experience on the audit or similar engagement. Method of communication, for example, paper, email, or other medium, the way you are using. Nowadays, there are a lot many tools for confirmation. Electronically, available tools. So for example, you just upload the balance, automatically, a confirmation will go. So there are systems and tools in place for the confirmation process. So the way you are sending the confirmation, management of the authorization or encouragement to the confirming parties that please respond directly to the auditor. Ability of intending or confirming party to confirm or provide the requested confirmation. Okay, for example, if there are very, very small number of, amounts of item. So let's say the company is dealing into packaged products, but each invoice is less than, rupees 10,000, but there are numerous invoices. In that case, if you ask the confirming party to confirm all the invoices, they will not do. If the list of invoices, let's say, is of 200 pages, they will not do. So you need to see the ability of the intended party to confirm or provide the requested information. If they can provide you the requested information, then you can send it. Otherwise, you need to figure a way out to ask the information that you need, but in a way in which they can confirm. So these are the factors on which the confirmation, designing the confirmation request depends upon. Any doubt, guys? Any doubt with respect to this? Any doubt? Any doubt, guys, with respect to whatever we have discussed, whatever questions we have solved today? So my focus was on totally practicality and practical questions of the areas that we have discussed. Any doubt, guys? Are you clear with the questions that we discussed today? Are you able to understand the concepts in a much detailed way? Yes, no, something, guys. It will be really helpful for me. See, if you are able to understand the concepts in detail, if you are able to, correlate things, then it's, yes, yeah, help, useful. And, it's an indication that I'm going on a correct way. You guys are understanding. If you need something different, let me know. I will definitely provide you. So if I tell about the process of external confirmation in brief, what happens is we take a letter from the management, that is a management request letter or authorization letter, kind of letter which contains the details that okay, management of this company authorizes the vendor, the debtor, the bank, or the external legal counsel to confirm whatever auditor is asking. So in management authorization letter, we do not have the details of account numbers, ledger amounts, or something like that. It's a plain authorization letter that we authorize auditors to confirm details from you, and we request you to confirm details to auditors, whatever they are asking, and directly send the confirmation to the auditors, not to us. Kind of authorization letter. Based on that authorization letter, we draft our confirmation, we attach the authorization letter, and we roll out the confirmation to the intended parties. Now, when I talk about intended parties, that is something, the address or the mail IDs, I take it from the management, but I have to verify from the independent source, or I have to verify or, check whether those addresses or email addresses or, whatever details, contact details have been given to me are correct or not, or are authentic or not. Once I receive a response directly, I need to check whether the response which have been received is received from the same address or the same contact details uh, to which I, rolled out the confirmation, or it is being received from some different address. If different, then I need to cross check. I need to re-verify whether it's the same party, or or what happened to the earlier address, whether they have a change in address, or whether I use the wrong address, or they are using the something. So I need to understand why there is a confirmation from different address. If it is not sent to me, it is sent to the management, I cannot rely. If it is directly sent to me, then only I can rely. But again, I need to validate the confirmation amount or details with the other audit evidence. For example, in the inventory one, we had the confirmation that there is this inventory lying and it is in perfect conditions and requires no provision. But there were other audit evidence available that were pointing out that the confirmation is not reliable. So we have to remain alert. We have to be alert throughout the audit in order to identify whether the confirmation response that we have received is reliable, relevant for our audit or not. And based on that, we need to move forward. For based on that, we need to move forward in order to rely upon the confirmation. So that's the summary of a confirmation process. Any doubt? Any doubt, guys? No? No doubts? If no further doubts, then I propose to close the lecture here, guys. Thank you very much for participating, and I hope that you have learned, you have gained an understanding of the topic in detail, so that you can write questions in the exam. Okay, please provide your feedback. That is very important for me, or it is very necessary for me, so that I can decide whether to proceed in the same direction or need something different. Okay. So thank you, guys. Thank you very much for your time. I'll see you in the next lecture. Thank you. Thank you.